What up, fam? It's your favorite cousin, your favorite uncle, your favorite nephew, your favorite father, your favorite son, your best friend's best friend. It's me, Dr. Larry, and welcome to Living For You, the YouTube channel. As I always state, this is a safe space. This is a positive place in which we come together and we work with one another. We learn from one another. We get some life coaching. We get some entertainment. We get some engagement on this journey we call life. And it is life. We are all on the same journey. So no matter what your path may be taking you, the ultimate is the same journey that everybody is on. How to best move through this journey we call life. Loyal, faithful subscribers, I always shout you out first because you are great. And our numbers are increasing. We are over 1,800 and we're moving on and on and on. So it's great. Thank you for subscribing. To those of you who watch but who haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I mean, I don't want to beg, but you might as well. This is a positive place. This is one of the few positive places out on the streets of these internets. So go ahead, this internet streets. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be a member of this family, this great family. And I want to talk to those who have never seen me ever in life. I am Dr. Larry Smith. I am an entrepreneur. I am a life and spiritual coach. That is my business. I have a business called Live For You Coaching, which specializes in helping people deal with trauma and moving forward so that they can live the life they deserve right now, not tomorrow, not remembering everything from the past and what caused the trauma, but living a healthy, whole, happy, peaceful life right now. If you want to know more about that or you want to know more about me, you can actually go to www.liveforyoucoaching.com. That is my business website. That is www.liveforyoucoaching.com. And you can find out more about me, more about what I do, more about my business, and some of the things that might be useful to you. I know there's something out there that everyone who goes out there can find useful. If you want to follow me on social media where I post all kinds of things about current affairs, entertainment, quotes, inspiration, all kinds of stuff, you can actually follow me at Dr. Larry Smith on both Instagram and on Facebook. That is at Dr. Larry Smith on both Facebook and Instagram. And those followers are growing too. So I want to shout out them because they're great. And if you're on Instagram and Facebook and you're not a subscriber, then you might as well go ahead and do it so we can have this family thing all together. Anyway, I wanted to jump on today because I wanted to do a video about knowing thyself, knowing yourself. Many times we assume who we are is based on every external, whether it's our degrees, whether it's our family, whether it's where we're from geographically, whether it's what our skin color looks like, whether it is how much money we have. We use a whole bunch of stuff around us to determine us and to really define who we are. But what winds up happening is when you place your definition of who you are on so many outside, external, shallow things, it makes it easy for someone to come in and define you or come in and change you and manipulate you into being someone that they want you to be. So that's why it is super important as a person in general, if you're living a whole, healthy, holistic life, to know thyself. What inspired this? So many things this week actually inspired me to want to talk about this subject. I can't post some of the comments, but I was on TikTok, and on TikTok I was getting comments because I asked a specific question about a post about it being racist or not. I said it's seeming that way, but I would like more explanation. And instead of the majority of people jumping on to give me explanation, I was called everything in the book from the N-word to, just all kinds of nasty things were being hurled in my direction. If I was not worried about losing my monetization on YouTube, I would post some of the images here. But that made me think, okay, maybe me just asking a question, what was the point in calling me out of my name and trying to define something in me that wasn't the case? But people do it all the time. Another thing that happened this week, at some point I went out to a lunch, and in the midst of the conversation, the person I was at lunch with was telling me who I was, basically saying, oh, you take digs and you talk about people behind their back. That is not my game. You guys have been following me long enough. You know good and well that if I have something to say, I'll say it directly to you And if it's a problem I have with you, you will know because I will let you know. And so I generally don't have problems with people because they appreciate my honesty. But apparently this person took my honesty as being a way to dig at them or whatever. And I was kind of like, I don't understand where this is coming from. And I actually explained to the person, what you think is not what it is. And I think you're just reading into something that is not there when it comes to me. But if I had not been a person who know myself, if I had not been a person who was comfortable in who I am, then those words would have impacted me a little bit deeper. That person's feelings about me would have made me have a certain feeling about myself, or I would have gotten upset, or whatever the case may be. I would have been bothered, and I would have allowed that negative feedback about me to impact me. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying, okay, I'm perfect and you can't give me feedback, or someone shouldn't be able to give you feedback if you know yourself. But when you truly know yourself, you know the difference between feedback and someone trying to understand you or trying to explain their experience of you versus someone who is just throwing things out there to see what sticks. And that's ultimately what this was. This was someone just throwing things out there to see what sticks. When I know good and well, everything that person was saying about me just was not part of the personality that I have accumulated in these 4 decades of living on this planet. Nevertheless, you have to let people have their say and have their word and have their opinions of you. But just because they have them don't mean that they're based on truth. But when you know yourself, you can actually say that confidently. I would have rather that person, if they had grievances with me, tell me in the moment. And if it's something that I have to apologize for, I don't mind apologizing. If it's something that I have to grow from, I don't mind being introspective and looking back and reflecting on myself and seeing what I need to do. But if it's something that you're just holding and you don't really fully understand, but you're not asking, then you can't expect me to be like, oh, welcome, come in, give me feedback. It was quite unsolicited. But a lot of times, people will give us unsolicited advice. And you have to know yourself enough. You have to know your character enough to not allow someone's attempt at a character assassination or someone's attempt to try to explain and define you matter. That's probably the most important part of understanding you and knowing who you are, so that people don't shake you off of who you are. And as I said before, it's not about not working and being a better person, but you're consciously doing it. There are people out there on this planet who do not know themselves, and they're not consciously trying to understand themselves from inside out, and they're not trying to define themselves and be solid in their grounding of who they are. There are people like that, and I would be remiss to say that, there aren't. But the goal is to understand yourself completely, to know what makes you tick, to know what makes you happy, to know what makes you angry, to know what excites you and what you find funny and amusing, and all kinds of things. People who are close to you, if they're truly getting to know you, those are things that they're going to know about. But if they're not truly getting to know you, all they're going to see is this surface level stuff about you, and that's what they're going to make their determination as it relates to who they think you are. I can say for myself personally, I tend to be very introspective, but I am a person who is an open book. So 90% of the time, maybe even 98% of the time, what you see is what you get. And this is who I am. I don't put on the pretense of being this other person. Because I can recall back when I was younger, I felt like I had to conform into being who this person wanted me to be. Or I had to pretend to be who this person wanted me to be. Or I had to live my life according to my religious standards or some arbitrary other religious standards or social standards or whatever the case may be. I fell into the line of trying to duplicate what people were telling me was good for me. Well, to be honest, it wasn't good at all. It was actually weighing me down. I didn't feel authentic. I didn't feel true to myself. I felt like I was fighting a losing battle. And so years ago, probably about 15 almost at this point, I made the decision that I'm going to be authentically who I am. I'm going to take the time to care about getting to know me. I'm going to take the time to asking questions about things as it relates to me and how it impacts me. I'm going to do as much as I can to understand me. I'm going to take just as much time as I take understanding a subject in school or understanding how to put something together or a television show or something, and I'm going to inwardly reflect and take that time to get that much knowledge about me. So when well-intended or not well-intended people come into my life and they have things to say about me, it has to match what I know about myself. You can't tell me something about me that I haven't already gone down the list to understand about myself. And if it ain't on the list, it ain't there. Because I actually intentionally take time to get to know myself. And this is what I'm telling you, family. You got to know you. You got to have a grounding in who you are. Because sometimes people, outside people and their insecurities, will do things to try to break you, or will do things to try to bring you down. And at the end of the day, if you're not confident in who you are, it works. But when you're confident in who you are, you don't you allow things to come in and you allow them to run on. You take it for what it is and you allow it to run on. You allow it to run on. So this is why it's super important to know thyself. You also will know how you would react in a situation. Now, guarantee, there is no sense that you're going to be able to have all of the answers about what can happen and how possibly you're going to react. But if you're confident enough and you're strong enough in understanding you understand where you need to be, what you need to be, how you need to do something in order to get things accomplished. So if ever you're in a situation in which it might seem like it's going to alter your perception of life, you've already thought about it. And so therefore you're already prepared on how you're going to respond in a situation that might not be a situation that you normally experience. That is the case. And I think a lot of times we don't spend enough time getting to know ourselves so that when things do come up that were unexpected, or when things do come up that were beyond our control, we freak out and we lose our minds. And we lose our minds because we didn't take time to understand who we are. It is super important going forward in your life that you know who you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. If you're not a person, for example, let's focus on the physical, for example. If you just live all day long and you go day to day, month to month, year to year, and you don't take time to understand what's going on in your body, you place yourself out there for a serious amount of health issues. You know, you're risking yourself by not understanding. And I can tell you directly, if something changes in my body, I know because I've taken the time to know how my body functions. I know when it's working and I know when something is off. And so therefore that's me knowing my body. Spiritually, you can grab hold to everything out there in the world. I want to be a Buddhist. I want to be a Hindu. I want to be a Christian. I want to be a Jew. I want to be a Muslim. You can try to grab all of that. But if you don't make some organization of all that stuff that suits tailored to you, then you're just grappling for straws. And you don't. When someone asks you, what do you believe spiritually? You can't just say everything. You know, you have to find something that works for you. Even if it encompasses all that, you know, it still has to be tailor-made and crafted and understood by you, for you on a spiritual level. Mentally, you have to know your emotional state. Are you depressed? Are you in a situation in which you can't control your emotions? Have you thought about why you can't control your emotions? Are you up? Are you down? Are you running around? And that's still connected also to emotional. Your emotional understanding of yourself. You have to know how you take things. You have to know why you take things the way that you take things. And you have to know how not to if it's something that is not a positive, productive, or healthy way of responding to a situation. But all of those things require you to know yourself. I always say all the time, I don't spend time worrying about other people's business because I got enough business of my own trying to understand me. I'm going to repeat that. I do not believe in spending time worrying about somebody else's business when I got enough business of my own trying to understand me and the world I live in and all of that. You waste so much time reaching for somebody else's understanding or reaching to understand somebody else when you really should be reaching to understand yourself. Once you get a good understanding of yourself, then you can understand the world around you. You'll know what's not for you. You'll know who's not for you. You'll know how you appreciate and don't appreciate certain things, what you like and what you do not like, and you can articulate that. I meet a lot of people who have a problem with someone like me who clearly articulates who they are and how they feel. Because most people are used to people just giving them fluff or not telling them the truth or telling them what they want to hear, comforting their emotions. Most people are used to that. Most people are not used to someone like me who's just honest in my truth. And if I feel it, I'll say I feel it. Now, am I putting 100% that what I'm saying is the fact? No. I can be challenged too. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with myself and with whomever else I'm speaking to or dealing with about where I am and who I am and what I feel and what I think and what I believe, because it's my truth and I'm confident in it. And we have to take time to get confident and solid in what we believe in. There's going to always be different fads. There are going to always be different trends. And if every time a different trend or fad pops up, you're going with it, you have no grounding in who you are. You're not solid in your truth and the truth of your being. So anybody or anything can come in and change and tell you something and change your perception of the world. That means you're gone, you're flighty. You're not grounded. And I believe you can't attract anything tangible and anything solid if it's not coming from a groundedness of truth, authenticity, and realness in who you are. This is why getting to know thyself is important. Getting to understand yourself is important. You'll be surprised, family, how many people out there are completely hate being alone or hate being by themselves, because in their minds, they're not the type of person that nobody likes. And so if nobody likes them, why shouldn't they like themselves? And I think it works in the reverse. If you don't like yourself, you're right. Nobody's going to like you. Why? Because they're not going to get the fact that you're confident. It doesn't matter what you look like, what size you are, your economic status, your religion, your gender, your sexuality, your race. If you're not confident in who you are and totally in an understanding of who you are, then of course other people are going to treat you as though you have nothing to offer. But when you are solid and grounded and knowledgeable about who you are, you walk into a room. And there are some people who are not going to like that. There are some people who are not going to like that you're strong in who you are and you air a presence. You air a presence of power and confidence and sophistication and class or whatever other stuff you have that you believe about yourself. There'll be people who don't like that because they're just people who have their own insecurities. There are people who have their own hang-ups, and they hate positive people. They hate people who are strong and strong-minded. And so that's a challenge that they have to work on. But never let nobody dim your light. You know your light. You know your story. You know your history. Live in your truth and be solid in who you are. Know thyself. So it is super important, family, to know thyself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. To know you. Know thyself is your most important education in the world, because it is the foundation, it is the source of every experience you're going to have in life. If you don't know yourself, then you won't know how to manage those different experiences you have. But once you're grounded in your truth, your authenticity, your real, and you solidify your knowledge in all of that, you will be okay. And people who are on that line of thinking themselves, they're going to do nothing but respect you. There'll always be naysayers. There'll always be those who got things to say about you from their perception of you. But you know you. And when you know you, ain't nothing they can say going to push you off of whatever place that you're in. That's it, family. I wanted to get on here. Like I said, I usually talk off the cuff, obviously, freestyling. But it's usually based on either experiences or something I read or something I'm feeling or something that comes to me through inspiration. And I felt like this was a combination of a lot of things. Except for the reading part, it was just my own experiences. It felt like it was channeled from the universe. I feel like it was also my experience. I think I said that. So that's why I came here, and I wanted to talk about that. Know thyself, appreciate thyself, love thyself, understand thyself, so that you know who you are in whatever situation that you're in. As I always say, I love you, family, with the highest possible love that is out there. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked this content so that we can keep making content. And let's just share this stuff around so that we can all grow in the know and be better off for it. I love you, love you, love you, love you. And as I always say, I will see you in the next video.